from. Tell your girl she can kick it if she wants some, but we got no time to waste.
Welcome to 4AZ. I'm your host, Tyler McDowell Blanken. On this edition, we'll give semester grades for Abbott Elementary Season 5. Now, we are 6 episodes in, and it's time to discuss what we've enjoyed, what we haven't, and the questions that remain. I'm so excited to welcome back Sarah Beth. Sarah, we are without Mike Staff, unfortunately. He is somewhere enjoying family time. We love and miss you, Mike, but I'm so excited that you are here because we have a lot to get into. How you been?
I've been good. Ready for Thanksgiving. Well, I'm really ready for the break, let's be honest.
Amen.
But things are good.
Good. I'm glad. It's so wonderful to see you. Okay, Sarah Beth, the format for this very special Abbott breakdown of ours, we are going to dish out grades for 5 specific characters or storylines thus far from season 5. We'll also have a very special exit ticket in which we give extra credit to someone or a specific episode from this season. I want to first give you a shout out because you are the brainchild of the I don't know if I've used that phrase before. This is your brainchild. You are the brainchild. No, you are the brainchild of this. I think that's the correct way to say this. This is your idea. I'm riding your coattails. This is true.
Well, thank you. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I really just didn't want to go 4 weeks without talking with you guys is really what it was. So I was
we
like,
can't do that to our audience. Yeah,
absolutely not.
They look out for this content.
Yeah, they do. I know they're like, cannot wait to hear the grades we're going to get.
Of course. And as Sarah Beth and I dive into this, please let us know your thoughts. What are your grades? Which storylines are you really feeling right now? Which are you not? We want to hear from you here on YouTube in the comment section or by following us on the socials at 4AZTeach. Hit us up. Let us know. We cannot wait for your perspective. Okay, Sarah Beth, I think I teased this long enough. You know where we must start this conversation. Janine and Gregory, our favorite relationship on television. Not just on Abbott, not just in Philly, but on television. We love these two. Big season for them. They're an established couple at this point. The Janine Teagues and Gregory Eddy relationship. What grade do you give the development of these two 6 episodes in?
Because you did not give me like a rubric prior to this. None.
Rubric free, which
what is crazy because I rely on rubrics a lot lately.
What could go wrong? Sometimes students are like, "Hey, do you have a rubric, mister?" Maybe we'll see. We'll see if we do.
I do.
We'll see. I need to get
an A. Let's be honest. Like the amount of growth those two have shown, and like the way in which they are really starting to reflect on. I feel like last season was a lot of reflecting on like, how do I compromise within this relationship? And how do I like think about somebody else or consider someone else's wants and needs? And I feel like this season, they've really shown like they have that down. And now they're really reflecting on like, who am I within this relationship? And like, how do those traits, like how does who I am strengthen our relationship? And so like just seeing how they're really stepping into who they are versus like trying to like make their partner like happy or like be someone that they think their partner wants. And so just the growth they've shown in the communication. I think it's been interesting. I feel like we don't get a lot of like couple content from them this like, but I think as we've kind of moved out of that like honeymoon into that like very like settled and like strong stage.
I dig it. I want to give a call back to our conversation many episodes ago regarding iPod era songs and our iPod era playlists. Mm-hmm. Your comments make me think of, I want to say I may have had this as a ringtone actually back in the day. Fabulous and Neo make me better when they say I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Yes. I felt 7th grade me, Sarah Beth, just felt that in my heart, especially as I would think about my crush and our future together and what have you. Those words so apply to Janine Teagues and Gregory Eddy for me. I love that we are in this moment where they're just solid, to your point. The communication gains that have happened over the last season or two, obviously as exemplified this particular season by the game night episode. where Janine just supported her man's. Listen, Gregory, God is still working on Gregory. Gregory is not a finished product yet.
Do we
None of us
want
are.
Gregory to ever be a finished product?
I
Like,
I
who
think he
he
can.
is?
I, but the bench press
Mhm.
set
I
in the living room, the studio, he he's got some work to do. But Janine knows, hey, this is
he's
my
got
man. I
some.
love him. I'm going to
You
support him. And
know, in his defense, he lives in a studio. He doesn't have a lot of room, and I really
this is
commend
true.
him. He does
Yes.
make the best use of his space. I will say I was actually surprised by his studio because I was expecting more like a bed and like maybe a desk and like that's it. Like I wasn't even expecting a couch for as firm as it was. Like I was actually more like pleasantly surprised where I was like, oh look how far Gregory's come from eating boiled chicken in his car.
Yes.
Like,
You still, what is it? You still need to fill out the RSVP form if you're going to come to game night. But
you
the Google
know,
Doc, the spreadsheet.
yeah, the spreadsheet, you know what? I get it though. Like as someone who's very type A and loves a plan, who also grew up in a very type B family, that I mean, again, I don't send out spreadsheets, but I do side a little bit with Gregory, which is very interesting given like a lot of people who know me. I don't seem as I just get very specific about very specific things.
We love that for you. And
Thank you.
and and, and Sarah, I think we've also seen couples
Mhm,
IRL in real life who have broken up for less than maybe a
mhm,
disagreement about a party or the way you frame your apartment. I might be speaking
mhm,
from personal experience as well here.
mhm,
Uh, Couples have broken up for less, so I love that they are at the stage in their relationship where, as you pointed out, that effective communication is
mhm.
just on 10, and season 5 has
Yeah.
really shown us that they're there right now. So I
Mhm.
agree with you. I also gave them an A. Janine and
Yeah.
Gregory, season 5 so far. I was tempted to go A plus, but I'm not ready to go there yet. That Tariq episode where he was involved and he was kind of talking crazy, that still rubbed me the wrong way. And it
Mhm,
was just like, if I was in that situation, I was Gregory, what would I do? It's at the school, it's at the work setting. But regardless, they
mhm.
voted A for me as well. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. I don't know where to give like plus like these like letter grades are very much out of my wheelhouse because we do what do we do now? We do 1 to 4. So I really have to like stop and think where I'm like, where are we? We don't use a lot of
Indeed.
percentages to figure out our grades.
Probably not a bad thing. Okay, our second topic here. Again, we have 5 total and then our exit
Mhm,
ticket. Talked about Janine and Gregory. Check that box. Super important. We must address Ava, the one and only Ava Coleman. We're going to title this section of the rubric, or not the section of the rubric, but the evaluation,
mhm.
Ava's leadership. How would you grade her as a principal in season 5?
From strictly leadership status, C. I don't she hasn't done like she's there, she's supportive, but I don't feel like we have much of her like typical like Ava like antics where like she does something and then pulls through. Like it's just like and again, some of this is that we're very much accepting of our relationship with Oshan, and I think that might be taking a little bit of our focus. And some of it too, we haven't had any like big overarching storylines. So like we had the golf course last time. So she had some places where she could like really step up and step into, right? Stepping up and taking one for the team and the district putting her on leave. This season, she's there, she's Ava. Some of it is like opportunity wise, there hasn't really been much for her to like really be Ava and do her unconventional leadership.
Unconventional is an apt word. Fitting description. I am awarding Ava a B, simply off the strength of nothing has gone catastrophically wrong so far. And
I like that that's the bar for Ava is that
well,
nothing's gone
okay,
wrong.
hear me out. Sometimes as a
Let me
teacher,
rephrase that. Nothing's gone catastrophically wrong.
catastrophically wrong. Yes.
So she gets a B.
This is an important thing. So she has earned a B because even as teachers, Sarah, it's how do I want to phrase this? You have those days where you just reflect and you say, you know what, nothing went horribly wrong today. What was it? The best day ever? Maybe not. But ultimately, I, I was able to drive to campus and drive back. Nothing went wrong. Kids were fine to excellent. I made it to the meeting on time. Nothing went wrong today. So that's the mindset I'm embracing, and particularly for Ava Coleman as a principal. Sometimes I think about the principals that I have had. I think about our current principal at Sunny Slope,
Mhm.
and bless them because they have to manage so many
Oh yeah.
personalities. It is not a position I envy whatsoever. Aside from checking the district boxes, they have to manage people
Mhm.
and really check on the welfare of their
Mhm.
staff and make sure their staff is feeling supported, happy, healthy,
Mhm.
etc. Like you said, Ava Coleman, Principal Coleman does have a very unique way of doing that at Abbott
Mhm.
Elementary. But we know there are those moments, maybe not so much in season 5, but there have been those moments where you can tell she really cares about her
Yes.
staff, especially the Janine Teagues of the
Mhm.
world. So for all these reasons, I am awarding Ava a B. She's not an A yet for this season as principal, but given all that went down last season, she got her job back. Nothing has gone catastrophically wrong, and I think we need to continue to ride that wave. Ava Coleman, B. Our third topic, look at us. Jacob's progression. Now, this has been a hot topic
Mhm.
here on our show and maybe offline as well. Sarah Beth, Jacob's progression as a character. What say you?
This is going to be something like to Ava, but I think we're kind of stepping into like a really big with the remainder of the season, like growth for Jacob. Like I think he's going to have some opportunities. So kind of where you were with like nothing's gone catastrophically wrong. I'm going to say a B because I think we can see a lot of ways in which he has reflected and like really stepped into like who he is and like his passions. But think I think it was last episode like we talked about kind of how he doesn't really seem to have like his person, whether that's like Gregory went from being his best friend, but now he's best friends with Janine. Like, and I think he's really gonna step into finding like relationships and finding that like he can be who he is and like secure in those. And so I think he's a tentative B moving towards like an A because I feel like he's one of our characters this season where we're seeing little bits of growth, but like the point is like overarching growth for him. That he is going to be one of our like character like driven. Can't think of the phrase I want. um, you teach English. What do you call it? Like when the
Yeah,
characters
I'm off the clock though.
not
I'm off the
huh?
clock though, Sarah. I'm off the
Where's the
clock
clock?
though,
I
Sarah
know,
Beth.
but you should
This
at least know the
my
phrase.
brain, the school
I don't know.
brain is
When I
is
fill
uh,
out my story graph,
is gone.
it's one of the questions it asks me. Do you know what story graph is?
I have no idea, but it sounds
It's an
amazing.
app where you log like the books that you've read
Oh,
into
it's an
like
app.
levels, and
Oh no.
I get very dorky about data, which again, anyone who knows me would be very shocked, like until like you actually look at it. And then it makes you like really pretty graphs based on the books you've read. So like it'll be like thriller, like this percent was thriller, or like pages read, or like audio versus. So they'll give you a bunch of different just graphs based on like what you've been reading. And there's one where, and so I can't remember though. It has to do with characters and how they change like in the story, like character growth basically, but that's not what it's called. There's an actual name. It'll come to me later.
That sounds
But
that sounds
I feel like
fantastic.
he's
I
our
didn't know
one
about
that's
this.
really making like going to be making the steps. I get a little nervous. And maybe it's just because you're in my head and you're constantly predicting someone's leaving. That's always your prediction. And your theory corner is somebody's leaving and no one's left yet. But I do feel like if someone were to be leaving the classroom, it could be Jacob just because of this growth that we're seeing
Mm.
and his passions. And his passions aren't always met with the same enthusiasm. And again, I relate to Jacob a lot in that. And sometimes that's really hard when you want to talk about these things that are very, very important, especially when it's like politically or like those pieces and then no one has any background on it. And so then you're stuck explaining the 10 things that lead up to that one like decision or charity or so maybe also I just have a lot of relation to Jacob and
For sure. The more I hear your breakdown, the more that maybe I relate to Jacob, perhaps in a more substantial way than I thought. As someone who left the classroom,
Mhm.
Jacob, where Jacob's at is kind of giving that. And I don't know if that's just me reaching as a viewer who wants something more substantive for him in terms of a storyline. And Mike also brought up this point in the last episode. Shout out
Mhm.
to him. Or I'm not sure where we're at with Jacob.
Yeah.
He is honestly the character that I want to track most closely with, let's say, the
Mhm.
next 6 episodes when Abbott returns next week in December.
Yeah.
Because where are we going with him? What is next for him personally, professionally? These are all questions on my mind. So for all these reasons, Sarah Beth, I am awarding Jacob a C right now. It's
I like that
right.
we're like flipped.
We are. It's right in. Yeah, we did not plan this.
Mhm.
It's right in the middle for me
Yeah.
right now. I don't hate it. I
Mhm.
don't love it. It's just okay. I'm glad Jacob is here, but there have been previous seasons where he was not only a hallmark of the show, but he was
Mhm.
central to my enjoyment. The jokes were hidden
Yeah.
differently. He was just an essential piece, and I think
Yeah.
since then you have like a. We'll talk about him later. You
Mhm.
have a Mr. Johnson who's really
Mhm.
ascended since
Mhm.
season one, and where we're at currently with Jacob, it's giving more of a descent for me right now. And I hope I'm wrong. We shall see. I'm fascinated by what's next for him.
Yeah, I will because I've noticed that too, but I'm leaning more into this feeling of that's where that's leading. Like the Halloween episode really stuck it where they didn't even realize he'd never come back.
Right. You and
And
Mike brought that
I
up. Yes.
I think that's my possible like theory corner prediction. That's why like they're kind of pulling him back, but I think that's going to be kind of like our like plot, like our next plot line is that he's recognizing that he's being not being recognized and they're not realizing. And I think it may lead to some like conversations there around how do you stay friends when
Mhm.
you're so like happy and in love and all these things and like you don't realize your dynamic changes until it's almost like too late. And I think that's just my prediction. I feel like that's where we're heading, and that's why like I'm more of like a tentative because I think he's being set up for something to come.
Mm, mm. I hope you're right. I have two final thoughts on Jacob before we transition. His story is so profound to me because for our friends and family, and even our audience members who aren't in public ed, who maybe aren't in the classroom, Jacob's story to me is so indicative of how this profession, a lot of us in this profession can feel really lonely, which sounds absurd to folks on
Mhm.
the outside because it's, oh my gosh, you're with kids every day, you're a pillar of the community, X, Y,
Mhm.
and Z. But to your point, I wonder if Jacob is that teacher. I know
Mhm.
I've been this person.
Mhm.
I've had friends who are this person where you just become lonely. You're surrounded by so much every day from the hours of 8 to 3, 8 to 4, but then perhaps when you go home or when you have those quiet moments when there are no kids in your
Yeah.
classroom, what are those conversations with yourself like? How do you feel about your self-worth, about the job you're doing? I wonder what Jacob's answers would be to
Yeah.
these questions.
Well, that's a good because thinking there and how much he puts into everyone around him and his community and like and so and some of that right like maybe again I can relate and have work through some of this but like sometimes you take on those additional things because like then you don't have to focus on like that feeling of being lonely or like the other things that like you don't want to like quite address. And so you take on all these projects and you take on, caring about everything in the news cycle and like all these things because then I never have to like sit and be with who I am or be with myself and like think about those hard decisions. Am I where I'm supposed to be? And again, some of it is like I just really relate to Jacob, but those are also like where I see maybe his storyline going is that
Mhm.
he's very good at stepping in and stepping up but also he never takes care of himself.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that can be hard because it's scary. It's easier
It
for me to
is.
take care of somebody else or somebody else's problem than to deal with my own.
Always. Always. It's
Mhm.
giving, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
That's where we're at. And Sarah Beth, you've known me long enough to know
Mhm.
my life's motto for a long time was, if I don't think about or address my problems, they'll just go away.
What problems
And
are fine?
I've learned that that's not exactly
Mhm.
the correct formula. My
Yeah.
final thought on this, I need more from Jacob. I cannot have his two biggest storylines of the season be he got lost on the school camping trip, and he attempted to eat 10 glizzies at the baseball game via Melissa's challenge. What are we doing here? We got to have more for this
We
man
need something.
than the glizzy challenge, than eating a bunch of hot dogs.
Mhm.
Come on now. That's my last thought. I
I
wanted to say
agree.
glizzy
I
on
am
here
hoping
first
we
time.
either get, and I can't think of his name. He came to game night. I'm hoping we either get more of him.
Oh yeah, his guy. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, his
Love
guy.
that.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, reason to be
I would
optimistic.
also love to see him befriend Barbara's former student. That's now a teacher whose name I also
Yes.
cannot. I'd love to see them kind of like make friends or like some sort of like, I know Janine stepped into like a mentor role with him. So maybe not necessarily like a mentor role, because I know that means a lot to her, but because I'd like to see more of that character. Again, one just as an educator who coming in January will have her second former student coming in to do practicum work with her, which is insane to me. But like that's such a cool like relationship and like things like that of like you went to school here. Like that is a really cool like trajectory, and seeing just more of some like just new faces. Like I like when we have more. Like he's insane too. We haven't gotten a lot of him
I
either
hope he's
this
doing okay.
season.
Yeah, I
I
want good
don't think
things
he
for him.
is,
Yeah.
but
He might not be, but we'll see what's in store for
we'll
him.
find out.
We shall. I think that's a good bet for season 5. All right, Sarah Beth, our final two. One may argue this is the moment that you've been waiting for. I know I have, maybe our audience as well. We cannot have this semester grades edition without addressing O'Shawn. Sarah Beth, how the O'Shawn character has been, a wrestling term here, booked following season 4, alt title, The Ascension of O'Shawn.
Mhm.
Now in season 5, we've documented this at literally every turn. How he's been presented, how he's been booked this season so far. What
Mhm.
is your grade?
It's not. I think it's going to lead back to kind of like Ava's like a tentative C, like because they're doing great. Like that's not the question. I'm super happy with their relationship, but other than the baseball game, we haven't really gotten a lot of O'Shawn and Ava. And so this is more like I feel like they've been exempted from so many assignments that I just don't have enough to give them anything. And this is really like thinking about like Ava with her C earlier. I feel like we've just exempted them. And now I've got a couple of things because he hasn't been around. I think baseball episode, is that the only episode we've had him so far? And
I'm
like
pretty sure. Just
it
been
was
ball
great.
games.
And
Yep.
he won so many points with me. And so did Ava because, right, like she is clearly trying to control this relationship from every aspect. Homegirl is afraid of getting hurt. We know it. Like everything she does is because she is afraid he's going to hurt her. And she is trying to control it so that she can leave before she's left or she has the upper hand. And he knows that's what she's up to. And he clearly likes her so much that he's just taken the stance of like, no, I'm going to prove to you that I'm here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to like, and so they've done lots of great things. But other than the baseball episode, all we get is like how hot O'Shawn is, which like, yeah. And like in just like past, like we get mentions of O'Shawn and how great he is, but we don't get to see them. And so C, because again, I just don't feel like I have enough to justify a B or an A. None of our moments have been like, had it been the dinner episode last season, if that was like this season, I feel like I could justify a B or an A because that was such a like, she had to be very vulnerable and open, and he called her on it. And he was like, I don't need to be here if you don't want to be here. And then they were able to have that conversation and that like empathy and like understanding. to where like this season we don't have a lot, and so I'm going with the C.
I had to put myself on mute, not because I wasn't actively listening to all of your thoughtful commentary, but because the more I think about this, the more hot I get. I'm so prickly about how all of this has went down, and I'm not just doing it for a social media clip. I'm really upset about this, Sarah Beth. I'm really bothered by the lack of like my
This
rage
is
has turned
funny.
into laughter at this point because I don't know what else to do with my
I love
emotions.
this so much for you
I expected so
because
much
we've known
from
each other
you.
for what, 4 or 5 years.
Long time.
I don't think I've ever seen any other emotion out of you except for like joy. Like, so to see you frustrated isn't like in the best way possible. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
Thank
this
you
for
for
you.
that. Thank you. I'm working on myself. Yeah,
I
I'm
would say
just so
just a little
bothered
bit.
by this. The
Wait.
more the more I think about it, the more bothered I get. I will summarize my thoughts by saying this. You are right. Speaking of healthy relationships and relationships growing in real time, I love what we saw during the ball game episode from O'Shawn and Ava. And this is why I want more of him. If you would have told me heading into the season, Sarah Beth, that we would be 6 episodes in and we would only have O'Shawn, not reference, but actually present for one
Mhm.
episode, I would have said, "You're lying and don't play with my emotions like that." I can only assume, I can only expect that we are getting more of O'Shawn for the next 6 episodes of the season and beyond. I sure hope so. You're very kind on this category, Sarah Beth, the great Sarah Beth. This is an F for me. This is a
Here's
clear
here's
failure. It's a dereliction of duty on the Abbott creative side. What are we doing here? We, the Abbott fans, deserve more. We deserve better. It is an F. Not passing. No. And I had a D in my show notes. I don't know if you saw, I had a D on the Google Doc, and I changed in the last 30 minutes. I got that upset about this the more I think about it. That's all I got.
Here's also the very funny thing. You can very much tell you teach high school and I teach elementary. I'm like, well, I just don't have enough data. So like, let's
Yeah.
teach it a little bit more and see what happens. And you're like, done.
I don't need
F.
data. I just have feelings. I have emotions that I don't know what to do with. Okay, we could make this whole
You
episode
don't want to talk about
about
O'Shawn
that
anymore?
particular. No. I mean, I want to, but I want something substantive. I want a storyline. I want to see him present. Anyway, our
I agree
last.
because O'Shawn deserves better too.
Yes, it's intriguing. Sign us up. Our last category before the exit ticket. This is your choice, Sarah Beth. What I like to say in the classroom is you choose your adventure from here. And
Why would
sometimes
choose your
kids
own
could care.
adventure book?
So yeah, sometimes kids could care less. But I think having options, it's incredibly important, and you have that opportunity right now. I would like you to choose a character that we have not given a letter grade to, and I want you to give them a grade for this season. Some
Cool.
possible
Okay.
some possible choices could be the
Mhm.
aforementioned Mr. Johnson, the incomparable Barbara Howard, your homegirl Melissa Chimenti, or other. Who you got, and what's their grade so far this season?
Courtney. I'm giving Courtney an A.
Courtney, the star
I
student.
loved.
She's a gangster.
I love a self-assured girl. Like, I love that. And some of this goes to like the community within Abbott, right? She felt safe enough that she could go to them and say, like, hey, you're going to blow this for us. Like, she felt safe enough she could go to her adults. And that's like huge bravery. Like, you're going to blow this for us, right? Like, you can't go the day. We can go the day without our phones, right? The only reason the kids caved is because the adults blew it. Like, the kids would have gone all day. Actually, the kids never technically caved. The adults did. And like, so one, just to be able, and she negotiated, and you know what? Do what you gotta do, girl. Like, I'm not even mad about that. Like, she was never like disrespectful. She wasn't like, but she called them out and was like, hey, aren't you supposed to be the adults in the situation? And so like one, just the like bravery, and like I love anyone who advocates for themselves and for others. And so like her advocating for herself. And you know what? She negotiated, like she held down, like she was like, nope, this is what it is if you want to do it. And like I think like that just shows so much. And I think it's one of those things, right? Especially like within girl, like a lot of that behavior gets written off as like, oh, they're too bossy or they're mean or like all these things. And like really it's not that like there are these traits that like we attribute that can be wrong for like girls, but they're okay for boys, right? Like growing up my whole life, I was always called bossy. Which like, yeah, I was. But also I was surrounded by people who didn't want to make decisions. A. B, anytime my brother does something that's considered bossy, it's always okay because it's like leadership, right? Like it's just those things, like a lot of traits that like we attribute of like, oh, right, that girl's just being mean or she's being disrespectful, and she wasn't. She was firm and she was stern. But and so I think that like that takes like a lot of bravery. A, and B, I just always like, again, that's why like Shaminti is one of my favorite characters, is because she's going to tell it like it is. She's respectful about it. And so that's why Courtney is getting an A from me, because I like that our students are willing to advocate and to compromise. And I love to see it in our students.
Period. I did not expect Courtney to make this episode.
I did not either, to be honest. But as soon as it just came to me, I was like, it has to be Courtney.
It's fresh on the mind. And to your point, Sarah Beth, to have that self-advocacy on full display, to stand on business the way she did during the No Phones episode, all before high school, that's huge. When I think about, okay, in this evolving time we're living in with AI and what's the value of a college degree and so on and so forth, what are the skills that we want students, that we want our kids to graduate with? Self-advocacy to me is at the very top of that list. And I think you and I can probably even think of students in third grade, in ninth grade, who display that ability or that growth. And it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that ability when I was your age. You're going to far exceed my trajectory if you're able to self-advocate and speak in this way. And it's huge. It's such an important life skill. I think even us older folk can even work on that better professionally and personally, of advocating for ourselves, you know? So I second everything you said. That's fantastic. Although my pick here is going to be focused on Mr. Johnson. I am going to give Mr. Johnson a B+ because he has maximized his minutes this season. He's been a vocal point of the season, from learning how to ride a bike. I want to say this was in the first episode. Team building. Yeah. He was a focus of that episode, which is surreal saying that out loud with how far he's come. And then all the way to that episode where they were at the DMV and he runs into an old friend, and he's just out here living. It's not an A for me, but it's a B+. Mr. Johnson has maximized his minutes. And although I'm not as ingrained in his story as I was, say, during previous seasons, I think he's made up a lot of goodwill from where he was kind of stepping on the creepy Jill Stalker.
Yeah, that was a weird storyline.
Territory. I think he's gained some wholesome points back. And I want him to go on his vacation. I'm very eager to see, speaking of cast members who may depart, very eager to see this potential retirement tour, whether we're talking Jacob leaving, Barbara retiring, Mr. Johnson retiring. He's maximized his minutes. We love him for that. He's earned a B+ for me.
I agree with that. He's come a long way. I'm glad we've kind of gotten less creepy, because that was a weird, it just didn't land. There was a place where they could have stopped it and it would have just been funny. But I've enjoyed, finding out what he does. He rustles alligators.
The Bayou Brawler. Bayou.
Yeah, I feel like it was alliteration. Bayou Brawler.
It certainly was.
I love like thinking too, like just back and right. Like again, do I recognize that's an actor? Yes, but thinking about like the vulnerability of him being like, I can't ride a bike, and then like learning to ride one in front of everybody, and just those pieces of the thing I do appreciate about Johnson is like he always is who he is. And
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite lines was the no phones, when he was talking about how he's having the best day ever because, well, my to-do list is in my phone and I got plenty in my imagination. Like,
Wasn't he reading a book? He was just
was he?
I
If he
thought he
wasn't,
was.
wasn't a real book, wasn't?
I saw on social. Yeah, maybe that was for Instagram only.
Mhm.
But if we speak about Courtney thriving during the no phones episode, out of all the crash outs we
Mhm.
saw, Courtney, Mr. Johnson, they seem to be doing well
Yeah.
without the technology.
And I still stand by.
Productive? I don't know, but
I have so many questions about who he is outside of,
yes,
and it's interesting because I say this
yes.
all the time. We get little nuggets, right? Like the
We do.
Bayou Brawler, the learning to ride a bike, the knowing the janitor from the DMV for like 30 years, 40
The
years,
Philly
like
fanatic when they
the Philly
teased us
fanatic. That was a
with
good.
is he the mascot?
I
Yeah,
loved that little
it was
storyline
good.
with
Yes.
just O'Shawn. Because it's also interesting to me that like O'Shawn was the only one that picked up on like, and I get part of it, right? The rest of them are with Mr. Johnson all day. So I guess after a while, like that behavior just becomes who he is and you don't even like think twice about it. But like O'Shawn being like, that's weird. Wait, what? Where's he going? Like him like keeping tabs on him the entire game because he's convinced, all because he had like a piece
The
of fur or
yeah,
like feather
the little
from the Philly
feather.
fanatic,
Yes,
whatever
it
it
was
is.
fun. It was very fun.
And like for that to lead into tells me like I'm not the only one who's like clearly Mr. Johnson has more to his story. Because like had I saw that, like I don't know that I would have ever thought, oh, he's the Philly fanatic. My brain would have like rationalized 800 other storylines before getting to Mr. Johnson is leaving to go be the Philly fanatic in between.
But there's a hint of I could see that. That's possible because he is
Mhm.
such a mysterious dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's probably too obvious at this point in the
Mhm.
episode for him to end up being the Philly fanatic, which it turns out he wasn't. But the
Mhm.
fact that, oh yeah, that's my friend, we go
Yeah.
way back. And it's like,
Mhm.
of course, Mr.
But it made
Johnson.
so much sense where it's like, but it makes sense. Someone's like, hey, Mr. Johnson, that's weird. And no one else, right? Because I think even a couple times in the episode, he's like asking where he is. And they're like, what? He went to the bathroom. He'll be back. Like, they're very like, why are you asking?
Yeah, why are you pressed about where Johnson is? Right.
And so I really hope that is like foreshadowing that we are going to get some more information about Johnson. I just don't know how much information like I want, because on one
That
hand, I
doesn't help
really
me
want
at
to
all.
know, but also I do like the mystery of like Mr. Johnson just like dropping these like random facts. And you're like, what? Like,
He is a mysterious dude. That's actually an incredibly fitting transition for us, Sarah Beth. This is why you're the great Sarah Beth, in fact. Our exit ticket. I want to know, as we close out this conversation, which character or which episode or which storyline has earned extra credit for you so far this semester? Best performance, best episode. What say you?
ooh, got it. Best performance at I can't think
Or
of
your
it.
favorite episode? Either way.
The Halloween, I think, is my favorite episode so far. That or Phones, but I think Phones is just more. I've had a lot of conversation around the effects of technology and kids right now, so it was more like I could relate. So I think Halloween, but I want to say the park ranger. I was trying to say camp counselor. He wasn't a camp counselor. He gets my extra credit because the fact that he could walk in and got everyone's costume and everyone's costume, like especially like right, Janine and Gregory being sinners, but
Ryan Coogler and the IMAX
yeah,
screen.
like
Hilarious.
and got every single one like off the bat, right? Darth Maul, like
Crazy. Diabolical.
just diabolical.
I watched
Um,
that mom movie too. Very, very very unique movie.
I have not seen. That's the one where she like invites the kid It's like a horror, right? She
Yes.
freaks me out in
Yeah.
that.
It's
I
really,
can't.
yeah, it's really diabolical.
Yeah,
Octavia killed it.
she's
But
fantastic, and that's why
yeah,
I can't watch it.
Octavia Spencer's great. Yeah, it was a
The
different role for
previews
her. I
alone,
respect the
make
yeah,
me she freaks me out just from the previews, which is such a
sure.
compliment.
Yes, that's what they were going for.
I
But
need that to be clear.
Fox, we creeped
You can
out
just
Sarah Beth.
tell from the
Fox check.
beginning she's very
Yeah.
sinister and,
Yes, sinister is the right word. Darth Maud. To
well,
bring that reference, I mean, it
yeah,
was just because that movie's dated. That movie came out years ago.
a couple years ago, right?
Uh,
3 or
I-
4?
at
Yeah,
least, at
yeah,
least 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, I
The
don't
costume,
I
the costumes were incredible, and the
so
park ranger,
good
like you
and,
said, talk about maximizing your minutes. He did that.
mhm.
Maximizes seconds.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Sarah Beth, my choice here. I'm curious to know what you think I'm going to choose or what our audience thinks. There's a lot of different directions I could take this.
Mhm.
I am going to go with my favorite episode, and I might surprise you. Our favorite episodes are not the same. My number one, and the episode that's going to receive my extra credit, is going to be Ball Game. I loved Ball Game. And you know my expectations were high for it because the
Mhm.
first 2 episodes, I agree with you that 6 episodes in, it seems like a lot of these are giving standalone
Yeah.
episode vibes, which I don't really love. So
Mhm.
early on, you know, I felt this way. By episode 3, I was expecting Ball Game to get us
Yeah.
back on track, at least in terms of enjoyment. And it did
Mhm.
that for me. This was kind of, if I remember correctly, the prelude or right at the beginning of the World Series going
Mhm.
on between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, which was inarguably the best World Series in years. So every
I'm a
the stars
Giants
aligned.
fan,
There you go. Yeah,
so
no, and Diamondbacks. Okay,
yeah.
the Dodgers are obnoxiously good, but it
Mhm.
was
I
it was
know, it
just
hurts,
it was cinema. It was entertainment. It
it
was
was.
great. And we spoke about this with
Well,
my
and that's what baseball is.
yes. It's Americana.
My
It's
dad is a huge we're San Francisco Giants fans because of my dad, and my dad's, been a huge he's always been, a big sport, but, baseball has always been, he will go to minor league games, major league games, he's always he coached us, T-ball and stuff growing up, and so he really instilled and for me, and I do agree with, it was a good episode, and for me, it was good because it shows what baseball how good, the game of baseball is. I always get annoyed when people are like, "Oh, but it's so boring," and I'm like, "Have you watched a
yeah.
game?"
You feel the way about that. I remember
Right?
the
Yeah,
traditions
so,
and
if you're
the
watching it on
experience.
TV, it's
It's
not always, but,
right.
again, I love kicking, my feet up on the back of a seat and having a hot dog and a beer, in the sun, not here because
Yeah,
the
it's a
weather's,
vibe.
100, but,
Right.
yeah, there is
Yes.
something about literally a baseball diamond that everyone it's just a vibe. Everyone's
Mhm.
mostly happy to be there. That I do like that was the vibe that we got out of it, that sense of,
Mhm.
community within.
Yes, yes. And to see the game through the lens of so many different characters. You
Mhm.
spoke about the Mr. Johnson element, Janine and Gregory coming back full
Mhm.
circle. Gregory, the stat freak, the huge baseball
Yep.
fan. Janine, brand new to it. It was also the episode again where we got Ava and
Mhm.
Oshawn, uh, Barbara. Talk about
Mhm.
talk about fanatic baseball fans. The Barbara
Mhm.
element. You got the glizzy side quest of Jacob and Melissa.
Mhm.
It really did what it was supposed to. And in fact, I thought it even over delivered. As someone who was
Yeah.
excited for what it could be, I thought it over delivered. It reminded me of a man in my life who I love, like you, my dad. His
Mhm.
favorite sport is baseball, so it just gave me all of the warm and fuzzies, as it were. What I will say, though, again, in conclusion, is this has been, to my knowledge, my recollection, the only episode we got Oshawn in the physical form.
That's
Sarah Beth, I don't know Matthew Law's schedule. Matthew Law is the actor who plays Oshawn. I don't know if they can at least give us some background. Like, did he have a Skims photo shoot? Was he booked for a Star Wars series on Disney Plus? Like, what exactly is going on here? Of course, I'm going to give my extra credit to the episode with Oshan because that is a storyline that I am
I was
incredibly
thinking that when you first
invested in.
gave it, I was like, is this because it had Oshan in it?
Yes.
Here's what I love.
And the episode delivered for all the reasons you said. There was the Detective Oshan element.
Mhm.
There were all the characters who were doing something during this
The
episode, and to
Shamar
have it
Moore shout out.
yes, and to have it on the backdrop of being at a Philadelphia Phillies game. Philadelphia in itself is a character on this
Yeah,
show.
I
To me,
love
it
that
was the
Philly
most
is a
enjoyable.
character.
Yes, it was the most
Um,
enjoyable episode so far.
it's
It has earned my extra
interesting
credit.
that it gets your extra credit because it did have
Yes.
Oshan, because I spent how many episodes last season convincing you that Oshan was a good guy, and you spent how many times giving me theories and predictions that he was gonna be terrible and he was gonna leave her and cheat on her and and now you want more of Oshan.
Okay, I'll say this. This is what our podcast is for. We can evolve. It is okay to change your mind, and you are
It is.
presented facts, and you may shift your position. This is what
And
our
that's why we
recording is for.
present facts, right? That's why we
This
back
is
up
why.
our opinion with evidence.
Yes.
So how are we feeling about our light-skinned black men? Because I know we had a strong
Listen,
distrust because of Tyler
we
Perry. We're balancing out?
that's on Tyler Perry for sure. I am
How do
hopeful
we
for
feel about Shamar
Oshan.
Moore?
Exactly. Our resident Shamar Moore here on Abbott Elementary. No, I'm just invested in the character, the relationship with Ava. So different than Janine and Gregory, but still so important to the show. Ball Game, sincerely, was my favorite episode, and I'm optimistic that there will be another episode that can reach those heights for me, if not even surpass them. We shall see, Sarah Beth. This was such a fun conversation. I feel accomplished. I feel ready for Thanksgiving break, even winter break at this point, now that our grades are in and they've been submitted. We've checked in with our registrar. We are
See, mine are
good.
tentative though. I'm not ready for winter break yet. I'm giving them till end of semester.
Yeah, they got a few weeks.
This is their grade, their progress report, their grade check.
This is it. This is.
We'll see. I got a couple C's in there. I'd like to see at least be a B.
Maybe they got a few more weeks left. We'll see. What I do know is finally Abbott is back from their multi-week hiatus. New episode dropping next week, first Wednesday of December. We will be back with our Abbott review and recap conversation on December 17th. In the meantime, in between time, thank you all so much for joining us. She is at Dear Sarah Beth. We are at 4AZ Teach, and we will see you next time.